Subway, a transportation revolution. Imagine living during the 1800s in which the city is crammed with thousands of people and there's a huge amount of traffic in the streets. Well, this was normal life until the Underground Railway was invented and revolutionized rapid transportation until this day. The subway that we know as today was first made in London, Britain, January 10, 1867. Problems that the city was facing that led to the making of subways was the fact that as the city's population grew bigger over time, this led to the city getting more crowded. This caused the city to have a high amount of traffic congestions until Charles Pearson had the idea to make an underground railway station, in which that could solve the high amount of traffic congestions. He got this idea since having congested streets, people had to make measures on solving it. Thus, he came up with the idea of making an underground railway to use. Even though he proposed this idea, it was rejected later in 1846. Even though it was rejected, later in 1852 he proposed the idea again. While the city supported it, the railways companies weren't interested in it. The prerequisites for the adoption of the subway in the modern city can be broken down into three categories: needs, resources, and values. City dwellers who began constructing subways and incorporating them into modern cities had to fulfill a fundamental need in order to adopt this innovation. Subways have become a part of modern cities in order to satisfy mainly the need for transportation systems around the central area in London that is efficient and speedy. According to Professor Ulmer Christian, a British journalist, he states that the increasing resident population and the development of a commuting population arriving by train each day led to a high level of traffic congestions with numbers of cars, cabs, and omnibuses filling the roads and up to 200,000 people entering the city of London, the capital's commercial park, each day on foot. Also, based on the Metropolitan Railway termini, the government banned construction of new lines or stations in the built-up central area because there were too many buildings around the area and the government didn't want them to be demolished. According to this evidence from authoritative sources, it is clear that the need for subway was really high. Before subways was introduced to society, people could not build any more lines in the central area anymore because of the loss that was made by the Metropolitan Railway termini. However, they strongly felt the need for a new transportation systems with a huge amount of traffic in the streets, made by the growing population as time passed. The city dwellers of the modern world could not have adopted subways if certain key resources had not been available. The most important resource that led to the adoption of subways in modern societies have been the cotton-covered tunnel construction technique. The website, Transportation of London, states that to build the method, streets along the route were dug up, track laid in a trench covered with a brick-lined tunnel, and the road surface replaced, known as the cut and cover method. This was quick and effective, but created as many problems as it was designed to solve. It caused congestions during construction and was abandoned toward the end of the 19th century. By then, however, the Metropolitan was a success, stretching even farther across Middlesex, throughout Hertfordshire, and into Buckinghamshire. Also, the website, not yet published, states that while relatively easy, safe, and quick to carry out, Pearson probably won himself a great deal of enemies by building his railroad this way. The cut-and-cover method meant that entire roads and city blocks had to be shut down for construction purposes. According to this evidence from authoritative sources, the cut-and-cover technology was one of the most important resources that led to the adoption of subways in London. The cut-and-cover was the method that was used to build the first line of London Underground. although it caused some problems, for instance, congestion during the construction. It has succeeded to show this idea of subway was successful, and it led to the extensions of the subway systems. Also, though there were people against it, this way was safe, quick, and easy to carry out since the construction process was very simple. Finally, these modern city dwellers believe on a set of values that has allowed them to continue to enjoy their urban lifestyle. The most important value that led to the subway was efficiency and productivity. According to the document, The History of Metro, a government report published at the end of 1985 showed that the integrated system was succeeding in meeting critical travel needs more efficiently and attractively, offering improved levels of transport services and the public. In August 1980, it set new standards for urban transport, which has since been copied across the globe. It was Britain's first light rapid transit system and the heart of an integrated transport network. With the given of evidence from the authoritative sources, we can infer that with the efficiency and productivity of time that the subways gave in society, this led to cities stay more organized, less crowded, less traffic, and many more effects that impacted in our society that we know as today. Summary: without the needs, resources, and values, subways wouldn't have existed that we know as today.